Piyawat, go ahead.
Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Piyawat Louilarpprasert, Thailand Music and Art Symposium Director. I'm very glad to welcome all of you to join. This is very exciting and important session for us to continue our mission to bridge the society between Thailand regarding new art, music, through the other international societies such Cornell University, where I'm currently a doctoral candidate. So I really would like to welcome first Professor Papalexandri Alexandri, who's an assistant professor at Cornell University at Music Composition Department. So yeah, this is my welcome. So shall we try to note each other, just like quick rotation, maybe like 15 seconds approximately. So maybe we can start with you, Professor Papalexandri Alexandri.
Thank you, Piyawat. Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure to join you today. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. My name is Marianthi Papalexandri Alexandri. I joined the music department in 2016, and I'm a composer and sound artist. Today is a double meeting. It's a meeting part of the symposium, but also we are featuring a new seminar, which is called a Composing Network. A seminar that is, I put it together back in August with the idea to simple connect emerged composers and students with artists, scholars, and people all over the world, as this is a one-time, maybe lifetime opportunity that we can so easily can connect each other via Zoom or via other such platforms. So thank you for being with us. I'm calling from Switzerland today, and I will pass to maybe Han.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. And my name is Han. I'm second year doctoral student in Cornell University, and I'm a composer and a song artist. I think I'm very excited to join yours, and I'm very happy. And also, I would like to say I'm calling from Beijing. Nice to see you guys.
Cool. Maybe we bouncing to John.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm John Eagle. I'm calling from New York. I'm a composer in my second year of study.
Cool. Maybe to Miss Anothai, Dr. Anothai, sorry.
Hello, hi, I'm Anothai. I'm calling from PGVIM in Bangkok. I am myself working with sounds and also a big fan of Piyawat's work and all you guys' work. So looking forward to hear more. Thank you.
Okay, we can swap and then maybe Miles.
Hello, I'm Miles. I'm calling from Ithaca, New York, and I'm in the third year of the doctoral program at Cornell University studying composition, and I'm also in Marianthi's seminar.
Nice. And Dr. Pamornpan.
So hi, my name is Pamornpan, Komolpamorn. So I'm from Thailand and I work at Mahidol University, Thailand here. I'm a conductor. I'm not a composer, sorry. But I hope that, I want to join with you guys and talk and connect with you guys. So nice to meet you all.
We can bouncing to the cat lover.
So, hello everyone. My name is Dyussembayeva from France. I'm currently based outside Washington DC, I'm a doctoral candidate at the Graduate Center CUNY, and I'm also the co-artistic director and co-founder of the composers collective Tacet. And it's my pleasure to be with you this morning.
Then we can go to Anouk.
Hi everyone, my name is Anuji Sambhava. I'm 19. I'm a composer from Almaty, Kazakhstan. And I'm also the founder of Composium, which is a platform for musicians and composers around the world. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Then we can go to Josh, Laura, and Noppakorn.
Hi, I'm Josh. I am a second composer in Cornell, and I am calling from Ithaca.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Cetillia. I'm a first-year composer at Cornell, and I play the cello and dabble with electronics. Look forward to hearing more about everybody else.
Hi, my name is Noppakorn. I am currently a master's student in Royal Conservatory of The Hague and also the members of Tacity Ensemble. And I'm very excited to join the sessions and talk with you all today.
Great. I think all of us already have introductory. So Professor Papalexandri, so would you like to proceed the next step?
Thank you, Piyawat. So it's been a pleasure to meet you all. What I want to say is that part of this seminar is actually to ask a question such as, what is it like to be a composer today? And we had many visitors, guests, artists, composers that they will visit our seminar, and we will the students will study their work, and we will initiate a conversation. And over the semester, we also explore some various ways of reflecting the conversation that we had, in a manner that we could even create pieces that they are imaginary conversations. So if we explore the idea, once you meet somebody, can you continue this conversation in your head, but also can you think of any of us as your future collaborator, even if you are not really doing this in person, but somebody is entering your mind, I will say. And it was one idea for me to offer to students to think that you're never really alone. Like you can start composing a piece with the idea that today you're collaborating with John Cage. Why not, for example? So we explore all kinds of different experiments, and what will follow up is also some experimentation with video, because basically none of us really has any experience about how to put a video together. We are composers, right? But now we're facing so many new challenges, and as we're going into a more of a visual world in some ways, we want to explore also other ways of communicating ideas via text or image and so on. And what I will play some examples, video clips of the participants and students that they reflect their very current discoveries. So I will invite you to watch these videos for you to just get an idea about what everybody's up to right now. So it's kind of like a demonstration of very recent and current discoveries, so fresh that some of them actually they took shape a few days ago. That's the way I invite you to look at them and listen to them. And again, this is for us, for this occasion for us, to get a bit of a taste from what everybody's up to here for the sake of initiating a conversation. So I will be sharing my screen. If you like, there is an option to, there is an option of hide your self view, but it's not necessary. If you want, you can stay to the gallery view, because as I said, these are more documentation of experimentation. And so let's run it, it's all live. We see how it goes. I will be sharing my screen now. And if you give me a minute. Before I press play, I will just wanted to ask you to, well, the audience, if possible, to use headphones, if possible. That would be great. And bear in mind that some pieces will be a little bit louder or quieter, so just bear in mind for that. All right. I'm sorry, this is... Thank you, everyone. I miss the sound. I miss the sound of an impulse. Everything gets so quiet in our days. It's quite interesting how this sound has been replaced by a visual icon. And yes, so our communication is changing dramatically just by this. Yes. All right. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Shall we open the discussion?
Yeah, I maybe, since I should start, since yeah. So
I hope.
Yeah.
I just hope that we put this very recently, like last night. I put together all the videos, so I hope my students were okay with the order of the videos, and it was quite tricky how to. Maybe I can say a little bit about my experience about combining the videos together and curating this, because it's a very different situation than when you have a concert situation. There is normally these breaks in between. We have the applause, right? We have a sound, we have some kind of activity on stage, some kind of time for us to, if you like, a short break for the mind before we enter somebody else's work. So the solution to that was for me to enter a few minutes of just black image. And it's quite a little bit like a shocking for me, like that what is missing from getting together in the same room is now being replaced by that. But then it's also another matter of like when you are curating certain exhibitions, when you are combining different works, and I think there was a conversation with Pierre about providing this material as a sort of like an installation when video works are running as a loop. So, but I found this kind of like questions interesting. And what I found particularly like a question that I have myself for us and for the students and for the guests is like, what does it mean to be a composer today, and how technology in particular is changing the way we express our concepts and ideas? Or is it actually doing that? Or
Sure, can I respond to that?
yes, please.
Yeah, so there's one thing that I found like after this project, and I think like all of us Cornell composers might think as well, like I think editing techniques, it's kind of like a part of important for the video works, because like we are usually editing composition in notation, right? So we start to edit notes by notes, like materials, creating, you know, like from traditional sense, melody, harmony, or like to the structure, from structure to realization in the environment, awareness of the situation, and then so on. Like for example, when I did my spinning tube in my head, so I did a run through, like 10 minutes of tubings. I just call it tubings, spinning. So, and then after that, I start to thinking about how to hear myself more, like where would be the best. So I try to pick the most kind of important part. Like I wouldn't say important part, but the most like more natural that express myself the best, so that I start to edit, so that I found that it's a kind of like post composition. I did like the kind of like the process of after. So it's like we have everything before, and then we edit the past to create the present of the work. So yeah, that's just my interpretation for the video work. I would like to throw this to Dr. Anothai, because Dr. Anothai works. We work together a lot since I was like, first of all, I would like to mention this, like I was in Darmstadt Music Festival first time. Before, like I was like composing only you know, like wind band music, let's say, kind of orchestra will, you know, like pum pum pum, you know, vertical music. So like, but then like Dr. Anothai brought me and said to me that you are a trombonist and you are a composer, so let's go to Darmstadt and you have to write the piece for yourself, playing with players, so you can be a composer performer. So that from that point, it always in my head, like it is always like kind of triggering me to enter this field. So and also Dr. Anothai also worked a lot with video works, theatrical aspect in composition. So I would like to maybe send this to the co-curator. It's kind of like a promotional.
Sure.
So yeah.
Thank you. That's an honor to see your work as well, Piyawat. So thank you for a lot of inspiration you've given us during the years. So maybe from seeing all the works, thank you very much, Professor Papalexandri. I love the way how you curated it, and I guess the way that things are tied together really brings audience into hearing things more. Even though a lot of works doesn't have a lot of sounds, but you can hear a lot of sounds by just paying attention to that. And just to have a name of the composers at the end of each pieces, you recognize that there are a person behind all these creations. So that's the part of human touch, I'd like to say. So seeing some names, seeing faces, or sometimes faceless, is always nice to feel the work and then get to know a person. So I really like that. And to respond to your questions about the ideas of composers nowadays, maybe my first thought, the first thinking that come to mind is that to a certain eras, composers are hunting for what that is unavailable. We always find some new technique that was not available before and try to make it happen. But I guess nowadays, because we discover that a lot of things already around us, and it's really hard to invent something new. So a lot of composers getting used to the idea of finding how to design what that is already available around them. So I think it's a little bit change of perspectives, and once you realize that you don't have to invent all the things all the time, and to be able to design, curate things that are around you actually is liberating for a composer. I think that would be my first point. Thank you. So pass it back to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Laura, would you like to follow up?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in there because I was very uncomfortable with the idea of having to make a video for this project. I do not think visually, at least I didn't think I thought visually, and I didn't know what I would do, and I just decided to use the technology that was already available to me, which was the Keynote program which already existed on my laptop, and I was able to manipulate it to act in a way that was in line with my aesthetic and my goal for the piece. Mine was the text score. So I just agree with you completely that we have to try to use to our best the things that are already around us, especially now.
would anybody like to comment on what Laura just said? Any other challenges that you were facing during the making of this? We couldn't even find a name for that, of like how to call this sort of like a demonstration of ideas of recent research discoveries. And then it's quite also difficult not to think as a composer and not to make a piece out of this, because that's what we do, right? So yes, Han.
Yeah, I have something I want to share with you guys. Actually, I found something new in my life because in the past I had a lot of experience in the gallery to be a person in the present and to feel the different things and objects. But for this time, actually, when I wear my mask, and I had a lot of psychological feeling that I felt it's really difficult. It was really difficult to demonstrate. That bring me think, the powerful from the video, demonstration, and I think that informed me, especially in this pandemic. If I can, I'm able to use video demonstration to convey my idea. That will be powerful, and also that informed me to further explore this very powerful tool to demonstrate my idea. Yeah.
Thank you, Han. I've also realized that you were not only relying on the technology which is available around us, but you're also relying on your friends, even on your family. Like early in the semester, Han, you made a video and you work very closely with your father, because now that there is this sort of restrictions to meet with other people, right? So I find that somehow we're becoming, this situation maybe remind us about the meaning of connecting with humans. But also I see this, there is a combination of the human and technology. And I sort of like think that was a kind of common theme, in every kind of video demonstration today. I could see, and going back maybe a little bit to, how do I pronounce your name? Is Anothai Nitibhon?
Just Anothai is fine. Yeah.
Okay, Anothai.
Yes.
Thank you. And you can call me Marianthi back, because I think when you said about the curating of the videos, I kind of like sort of realized that it's a little bit like going from the head, then going to some more imaginary, like thinking about parts of the body. And we had, Joss was working with his eyes and the eyelashes at the end. Chuck, the last video is, there's also the eye and how he's viewing. Unfortunately, Chuck is having troubles to join us on Zoom. So we've been trying to solve this. So he's not here with us at the moment. So I was trying to find a sort of like common sense, if you like, idea behind the curating. And I want to make a link to what Piyawat was saying earlier about post-composing, that when you work with video, it's unavoidable that you're attempting to edit, because it's possible. And I spend quite a lot of time myself, like moving, around, changing the order of the video, like what can I put in between, and so on and so on. And it reminds me how I deal with such situations as composers is to, if possible, to videotape a run through, as if this is something that is happening simple life. And if it happens in real time, it has all the other difficulties, but I think it was also an approach that Joshua was trying to achieve by setting up the camera and just being in the moment, and let's just use the technology to sort of like witness and store the moment. So, and I'm always like, I think it's an interesting dilemma, like should I be editing this? Should I be filming different parts of that? Should I be just set up the camera and let it run? And would actually Zoom be kind to me and will not erase my sound? Because when you play, the algorithm really understands certain
มุกบอกทุกคนไปกิน
sounds
ข้างใน
as
เลยครับ
noise, which is not welcome
ขอบคุณ
noise.
มากขอบคุณมาก
So
โทษ
there's
ทีนะ
a
โทษที
lot of going on, and I'm very curious to hear how you're dealing with such situations. Yes, I see it.
Yeah, for me it was interesting because in my music, I make a lot of acousmatic music, and in that, as you were saying, Dr. Anothai, I work as a hunter. I collect as many sounds as possible, and I cut them up and rearrange them in, you know, sort of very detailed collages. And for the video piece, partially because it was a different medium, but also because of the nature of the situation that I was trying to capture, it was very important to me to try and do no cutting, to have one take. Also sort of just the practical aspect of trying to film while it was still light in front of my window, and so having this kind of pressure to film as much as possible within the hour, as the days are very short here at the moment. So trying to get enough footage in to then be able to select one take was pretty different from how I normally work with sound.
May I add one thing to that? Just quickly, that I love the way how you say you go and hunt for materials. So my understanding is like when you compose with all these available material, it's almost like you're cooking something, and you have to rely on what kind of materials you have. Sometimes the herbs or vegetable is so fresh, you just have to cook it without editing. But sometimes the material doesn't come in the way that you would like, or maybe it might benefit more if you stew it or you cut it in pieces. So somehow I think maybe there's no right or wrong in cutting, editing, but it depends on what kind of ingredients you have, I guess.
จะเสริมอะไรบ้าง
I love your metaphors. They're great. And so efficient. They make a point. They speak to everybody. That's great. Thank you. I see a hand, Miles.
Yeah, I was just thinking in my piece or project that I did, one of my goals was to look at loudspeakers or musical objects around us that we normally don't question as something you can interact with and explore, right? We normally think of the loudspeaker as like a silent or non-mediator of that sound. And I just, the cooking analogy made me laugh because I was thinking it may be like eating an object that you wouldn't have tried to eat normally for dinner or something like that, and then seeing what happens, what it tastes like, so to speak. But also the metaphor of searching for materials and devices. I think in my piece I was trying to highlight the obvious, the thing that's always right in front of you as you listen to music, and question that or put that into play. Treat the loudspeaker as an instrument, and then maybe even go further and treat the loudspeaker as an instrument or something with a personality, something like that you can interact with and learn from.
Thank you, Miles. And I think your idea was also about offering a piece to the audience that they can, it's like an instructional piece that anybody can practice or experience at home. As speakers become like, we are surrounded by the screen, the speakers, and they're becoming a little bit my kind of like buddies, like my friends around me, because they help me going on with my life. I couldn't do it without them, with my headphones, and sort of technology starts to become a little bit like the extension, not starts, but to me, because I'm somebody who loves acoustic sounds, physical objects, and it starts a little bit to become, to maybe build a different connection, if you like. And here is the question of how do we maintain this valuable pressure, as Joshua was saying, that the pressure that of the one take, which makes you be, if you like, stretches your senses and your awareness and your engagement with that moment. Because when you go handing, if you see, well, it's a little bit cruel thing to say, but there is no certain breaks that you can take, right? I see my cat, like the other day, was trying to catch a mouse, and I was screaming, and I said, no, don't do it, because you're getting food on the plate. Don't kill one little mouse. But you see, the moment if I break this moment, I break the one take experience, and the moment is gone. The mouse is gone. I don't know if that's clear what I'm trying to say here, but I understand, and I completely agree about letting some things, like Anothai was saying, like letting something marinate some ideas, but there are certain, there is certain value that I find in the constraints, the certain like parameters that certain situations they bring. And I find that this is often what physical objects tend to offer me as a composer, if you like. So how do you find that sort of balance of having an option, but also choosing the moment of that, of the final decision of the option? I guess, when do we know that something is ready?
Can I just add to that problem that you're posing? I mean, beyond the physical situation of performance, I think the problem for me in facing this kind of preparation and presentational format is also the, how should I say it, the lack of a certain kind of social tension that we always have to navigate in performance, even in the most kind of distilled environments of, you know, classical music or whatever. There is all these kind of social contracts that you're negotiating in performance that you don't avoid in video altogether, but there is a notion of control over that presentational format that I think, I mean, I appreciated, like particularly in Laura and Miles's pieces, the way I think you drew attention to and kind of challenged that idea of control. But I think that that's a dynamic that for those of us who are used to working with live situations, that's a very difficult thing to navigate, at least for me.
But I kind of thought actually, John, that your piece, and this is what I appreciate also, is that you didn't hide the struggle that you had, the tension that you had while you're moving those vessels. It was actually there. You didn't hide it at all. And I find that you spoke about social tension, but I just wonder, can we also speak about a tension that sort of like emerged during the process of manipulating a physical object, an instrument, or simple by using technology. And some of us, we decide to reveal this tension or even make it part, I personally make it part of my work. You can even highlight that tension that it can emerge out of even when you had your vessels and you had to move carefully. I bet, did you realize, like, do I have to move carefully? Why would I try to make it quiet? It doesn't make any sense to make it quiet. Or can I even give space to this tension? So what did you have actually? I'm curious to hear a little bit more about how you approach this video or that moment, if you like, that you capture.
I mean, yeah, I was certainly conscious of that. I mean, and it's also, I mean, not to, belabor our, pandemic discussion, but I mean, it's something I'm very aware of in this behavior too, and how sloppy my physical behavior becomes. And I've noticed how much less attention I pay to doing things quietly because I'm on mute all the time. If I'm scratching my beard or doing whatever. So in some ways that kind of, being on camera, I mean, like kind of Josh was pointing to as well, having that rolling and becoming more self-conscious of that, the consequences of physical movement was very welcome.
It's making me think of like video art as a movement and how people received it, and also just sort of the first portable video cameras and how people react to those, both as kind of a way of showing authenticity through sort of everyday experience, the sudden accessibility of capturing the footage of daily life, but also in that sort of assumed authenticity, the ability to manipulate the experience of daily life through where you point the camera and what you choose to film. So that there's always this element of the performative, if not performance, that you can't really escape from in video work.
In some ways, I'm also thinking of like maybe a little bit through metaphor, but some of these projects in that light that may not be immediately read that way. I think like for my own, the loudspeaker experimentation is capturings of things that I've done on my own in like the past year or two when I do have a loudspeaker and experiment with it, and then delivering it in this format. Or I'm thinking of like, Piyawat, correct me if I'm wrong, but like your trombone piece, that is in some ways a documentation of your everyday life or practice or relationship with the trombone, curated and expressed in this form. So I don't know, it occurs to me that it's that same process through this as a documentation of one's own life or experience through these objects.
Yeah, I just want to follow up on that. So I think like from the whole that we are talking, there is one thing in my mind about the reason of decision, like how we choose things, right? How we like, for example, in Josh, like the perspective point go to his like face, and like the background is in the black color. So like I'm very curious about like how are we composers, how we choose those type of like visual perspective, sound perception, like how we combine them, because in video we don't have only the pictures or moving image, but we also have the correlation between sounds as well. So in my piece, or I mean, probably in many pieces of everyone, I think all of us think about a lot acoustics, thinking about a lot of space, thinking about some components that's apart from the writing composition. So I think it's kind of like we all trying to write everything, not every, like at least as a package. I don't know, we try to create the package, or like Anothai's cooking, or it creates some kind of like a world, like one world that we try to express somehow. So does it make sense? I just like I that's what I'm thinking right now. Yeah.
May I add something in response to Piyawat? From Professor Marianthi, examples of the mouse, the cat, and your interruption, I guess it somehow depends on the perspective. For the cat, it might be quite an irritating day for him. But for the mouse and you, I think it's a really good day. So in some way, the fundamental questions of when to, I think is always a fundamental question for all musicians, not only composers. So, but from this example, I think it reveals that actually it's the idea of compromise. It's the compromise between you and the cat and the mouse. And especially with the video art, it is a compromise between you and your audience on the other side. And one example that I like is Laura's video. That at first, to me, I felt that it's a little bit too slow. But at the end, I gradually adapted to her tempo. And at the end, and what I enjoy most about the piece is the struggle between her speed, my speed, and how at the end of the piece, the two things are, the two tempos are aligned with each other. So I guess in video art, especially if you want to, the audience on the other side, how you compromise with their time, their tempo, their pitch. And I think this might be something to consider rather more than when is the right time, but it's the, how to call it, boundaries. Sorry, I shut up now.
It was absolutely wonderful observation. I sense that Laura wants to respond to that somehow. But I thank you for this very much. Anothai, please call me Marianthi, if you wish.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to bring up something. Well, maybe it's related, but the idea of instinct, and Marianthi speaking about interrupting the cat's instinct, and how we often do that to ourselves, or at least I do. Question, like, I want to follow my instinct all the time, but I question it sometimes, wondering if that's really the right thing to do in some occasions. But how do you capture your instinct in a video piece? I could, with the keynote thing, you could control the pacing by triggering, the next movement. But when you output the video, you can ask the computer to just do its own version of the pacing. So I decided to do that. I was curious what the computer would do, and it actually took way more time than what I was hoping for. So I was really intrigued by that idea, and how do I translate my idea of the right pace, and I ended up cutting a lot of stuff out of the computer's version, because it took way too long. And yeah, so there's these levels of sort of compromise or that happen.
Great, thank you, Laura. This is quite interesting to share more information about the procedure that you went through, because I guess perhaps I wonder, is the algorithm trying to sense, the technology trying to sense your preferences also? Is it picking up some preferences and based on these preferences is acting in a certain way? I'm guessing. And so, but it's quite fascinating to have this sort of like almost a communication. The technology, it becomes, I mean, the computer becomes, or the technology becomes your collaborator. It makes it certain suggestions. And back to something that I think Joshua mentioned earlier about authenticity. I just wanted quickly to share one of my personal struggles when I was sharing one of my video performances of my sculpture, and like 2 days ago at a conference, and the struggle of like, this cannot be in real time, but it has to be a video representation of the performance. There was one moment that we made a mistake during the shooting. I sort of like made an accidental sound, and it's very evident that that's a kind of accident. And I thought right there, I find the authenticity because of this mistake. And it was quite weird because we had my partner and I, Per Lang, we've been working on this, and we've been talking about this, like, what should we do? It's so easy to correct this. But then we thought this is actually the only moment that actually proves that there was something happening in real time. There was some person like playing this and made a mistake and so on. So I found this, if you like, I wonder what is it like for everybody else working with the video, because somehow it gives me some, it opens up to new possibilities. And I will give you an example, for instance, with Hans' piece. His video had these moments where you will see only the corner of the room. And that moment serves to separate these situations. And I asked myself after watching this video, if we had to draw an analogy of the video to a real concert time situation, how is there a way to replace this absence we don't see? Is it lights, that lights, they change and we don't see the performers? Or is he projecting something? Or do they, could the performance stay still? Could they have a piece of fabric that to cover? So I think no matter like how, I understand that, John, you're talking about this situation is not maybe ideal because we want to have the social interaction and the want to be with people, but at the same time, it offers this kind of like pressure that makes you draw different connections among things that we haven't explored so much. So I asked myself, how could we do this on stage? How could we actually remake Hans' piece as a concert stage version? I like to do that when we, we don't have an answer, but I'm also curious to know if for those that haven't experienced those pieces before, they haven't. Anouk was visiting our seminar a few weeks ago, and I know that the composers, you have been working with the Tacety ensemble over via Zoom, and I'm not sure if I've met Jean-Patrick. Were you there in Zurich when yes? So we may have said a brief hello. There was a concert And I just wonder, what is it like for you to just experience these works, and if you find any, how can you relate to these sort of problems that we've been talking so far? And also, I'm sorry, do I pronounce your name correct? It's Pamornpan?
Yes.
So, any reflections, any comments? Or you can take us to a very different direction.
Yeah, sorry, maybe I start.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Please.
can I give some thoughts after I watch videos of your presentation? So to me, on my point of view, like for not a conductor, maybe like a listeners or something, I feel like those videos make me like feel like a curiosity. Just like I want to know what is gonna happen next, you know. And I question a lot during watching their videos. I feel like even same as Dr. Anothai said about temples, like I feel like that too. I feel like some video is too slow, or I think because I have a lot of questions during the silence, you know. So I think this is a part of a composition too. That's I want to share a thought for that, and I think this is good. Like I feel like I want to know what next, you know.
Do you have the prediction, like if something happened and then you think ahead?
Well, prediction, sometimes some video like I think like, okay, it's gonna happen next, but actually it's like no, like, you know, like I thought it's gonna be left. Even some video I thought it's gonna be closer, you know, it stopped and it's end. So like I also compose something during, you know, I watch video also. I think this is a part of audience also, you know, like, oh, what next, what A, B, C, or D, oh, you should see, you know. So sometimes this is a part of, you know, audience and composer too, I think.
Thank you. Who would like to comment next? Anouk?
I just wanted to thank everyone for sharing their pieces. I recently had an interview and we kind of talked about how now musicians can perform live and everything is done on Zoom or online streaming. And when you're watching a concert live, there's this idea of engaging an audience. So when you're watching a concert live, you're in the moment, you have the musicians right in front of you, and you're already engaged in that. But when you're watching something on a computer in your kitchen, you have your fridge, you can go and eat, you can hit pause, you can mute yourself. And so this idea of engaging the audience and creating this visual experience changes dramatically. And I've before I've thought of kind of providing this visual element of video on Zoom or online streaming in, I think, a very traditional way. But once I saw your compositions and all of your videos all were kind of an extension of your piece, whilst I thought of like a more traditional way of just like filming a piece. That's what I did all this time during the pandemic, filming myself, filming how I perform, and that's it. But your pieces have opened my eyes to kind of experiment more.
Thank you, Anouk. I hope you will join Cornell program for music major, as you are currently applying for.
I have a question to Anouk. So it's a similar question to Dr. Pamornpan. It's like, do you have any expectation, like when you listening or experiencing new works that you haven't receive any information before?
Thank you for the question. I think after I've seen the first piece, I had no expectations because I didn't really know what to expect. So I just sat back and watched. Even if I wanted to have expectations, after your piece was played, I no longer had them.
Pleasure.
Jean-Patrick, I sense you're about to say something. Is my intuition correct?
Yes. I really enjoy watching all these pieces, and I agree that these videos are a way to engage the audience, because I felt that listening to music, engaging with art right now, it's particularly difficult, especially in this kind of settings. I had to shut my camera off because my cat was acting up, jumping up the back of my chair, and it can be really distracting for myself, of course, but also for everyone. So it's something very difficult right now to engage with art, and I was really engaged with these pieces, maybe because of their aesthetic in part. I was really trying to predict what can happen, what is the form, what all these pieces are, like, can express, can be, and how they catch my attention. So I think it was really interesting, really well done, and the format was also very good. It's very easy to catch the attention when the pieces are so compact, but with so many things to say at the same time. That's something I have also trouble to engage right now. It's with the traditional longer pieces. I think this pandemic really affected my my concentration, and that's why I thought today was very interesting. This I'm sorry, I'm missing some words right now in English. This potpourri of pieces with all these different flavors.
Mm.
That's the kind of work I can engage right now. And I hope post-pandemic I will be able to engage with longer pieces, longer artwork like I used to be able to do.
Potpourri, it's a beautiful word, actually. Thanks for reminding me that. And it's not just a word, it's a word that comes with a pleasant smell. So it speaks to our senses. And I can really relate to what you said, Patrick, that indeed it's like we've got to stress our senses. Like right now, I often, our neighbor's cat comes when I'm teaching the students. Have seen like he's, you know, like grabbing me, and or my partner just right next door is working with his machines, and somebody is also like maybe in a few minutes the postman will be ringing. So, but I feel that there is some kind of what you're describing about all these levels of concentration, basically. This is what I find, that my brain is splitting into priority of focus, another layer of concentration that maybe this can occur right now. We had a few minutes ago, Daniel, please forgive me for still I cannot pronounce your last name. Daniel was just joining the conversation. I guess he's there. And so while I see Daniel joining, my brain starts thinking about the current collaborations that you've been working on with Tacet Ensemble, and I guess you also been you have been involved in this project, a project that has taken shape among the Cornell DMA composers via and not, you know, only via Zoom. We have rehearsals. We have a conversation about how can you fully experience a rehearsal via Zoom. How can you build a piece that when you can't meet in person, can't be in the space, and especially if your works, they also have to do with working with the space. As many of you are, you know, we wait to go even somewhere to fill the space. So this space is now, it's not there, it's been taken, something else has been replaced this space. And it's a different kind of communication. And I wonder, Piyawat, if that's a good moment to mention or talk about the upcoming events with the Tacity Ensemble. And I'm curious, maybe some of you could share briefly your experiences about this collaboration. And
yeah, I think it's a good time to talk about this.
Because we've got 8 minutes left,
yes.
So I thought
maybe I can
Daniel
just,
is with us, I guess.
Maybe I can say something quick, and then if someone wants to share the experience with the ensemble, because we already had a rehearsal last weekend. So like, so in general, the symposium, this is the officially second year, but actually it's a third year, because on we did start something like kind of small conference in 2018, and then we got very kind sponsor this year by SCG Foundation that commissioned composer giving fees for performers, and then they asked us like me, like Dr. Anothai, to be curator for like hunting pieces, and then like finding different works from territories. So yeah, so this year we do 6, I think 8 Cornell composers pieces, and then of course we are, you know, I do curate things not because we are friends, but I also respect the quality of works. I feel like all of us has, no, I don't want to try to be biased, but I really think that each of us has personal voices, unique, let's say, experience that the very, it will be very generous for us as Thai citizens, artists, to experience more unconventional or conventional ideas that could is a great contribution from all of you to hear. And is it like we did email before, Marianthi? So like it's very pity that all of us are separated, but at least we can connect via Zoom or whatever. But yeah, that's like I'm very happy that everything comes together, and I think it will be very exciting. So
would anybody else would like to comment, or Noppakorn, would you like to say something about, has it been easy working, or you can just I'm curious about your
So I'm also the member of Tacity Ensemble, but I am not the one that play in this project, but it is very interesting as the coordinator to organize this thing to happen. So it's always been interesting, because now the situation nowadays is like very rare to happen. Let's say to not able to connect in person, you are a little restrict to connect via Zoom. So we are kind of need to foraging the way to make it work. And I'm very appreciate that like all of your compositions is very great and very well blended in this situations. Because like I think if you guys compose thing in the let's say traditional ways, and I believe that the way that we are working through the traditional works, we kind of need the interactions between people in kind of ways. So we have to rehearse together, so we have to go to rehearsals, and by this kind of situations, I think it makes all composers think in different way to try to find a way to compose remotely and make the piece to work without any physical contact with the performance. So I'm very exciting, let's say, to see this kind of process development in my age.
Thank you, Noppakorn. Hi, Daniel.
Hello. I could talk a little bit about my experience since this is my second time working with Tacety and with TNMAS. It's also interesting because this is the second work for me in the same set that Tacety will be performing. So 2 summers ago, they performed the first set of At Any Rate, which is for ensemble and record player. And again, this is another work for ensemble and record player. I would say what's also interesting in the same way is that each time that I've worked with Tacety, they've performed a work that has been previously performed. So it's interesting to come to a work a second time and see how they approach my work. And although the circumstances aren't ideal, it's really wonderful to see how they approach my work, even though there's a lot of challenges, as there is for all of us. It's tough to work, I would say, through Zoom, I think, for a lot of our work because of the nature of the way that they're designed and the way that I think a lot of us approach listening and collaboration. But I think that the group is coming, at least to my work, very openly and fun. The story that I'll say that I think was endearing to me is my work includes a lot of singing. And on our first rehearsal, my friends in the group were a little sheepish with the singing, which I knew would be the case. And I said, really, you can go for it. There's parts where there's these little note heads that have looks like a harmonic thing over it. And I said, okay, those I really want you to have this sound that's like, this like voice break sound. And they all laughed. And now every time when I would come to the rehearsals and they would see me coming to the Zoom, they would all say, hey, Daniel, hello. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So the string quartet is really coming to it very openly and warmly. And it's been fun to work with them and to see them develop very quickly with the rehearsals we had. The amount of improvement was so great. And yeah, I think that it's not ideal, but all things considered, this work was created during the pandemic as well. And the way that Tacety has approached it has been really fun and a lot different from the original ensemble as well that worked on this. And so it's been rewarding and makes me think about the piece in kind of a different light as well.
Yes, Anothai, please.
I guess the things I have to say about having the Thailand New Music and Arts Symposium is a lot of thanks to Piyawat especially, and all the teams in Cornell and all these young composers for making this possible in Thailand. And I think it's really important to have this happen not only for us in Thailand, but also for people around. So thank you for that. And maybe just one last point to respond to your remarks about whether can we replicate these phenomena of the corner in Hansu's work. Again, in real life, my observation would be that it's possibly the other way around, that we actually, like in concert hall, when you're sitting in a concert hall, sometimes we look at the exit sign, we look at a person behind or a corner or lights or this kind of thing. So in reality, we have all these reference point or escape places that we can go to in a real concert. So instead of trying to replicate this into a real life, I think it's actually the other way around. We actually replicate these moments onto our new medium of working. So when we have this in a video art, it become our moments of looking at the exit sign or all these kind of things. So we actually reflecting our instinct onto the video art. And maybe this is a really good sign for all of us that even though technology are changing, time is changing, but us as a creative person, we can still always finding ways to express our instinct in any kind of format. So maybe so with like, especially after seeing this seminar, it's really figure how to call it, really wonderful energy. And thank you very much for having allowed me to join in. And I have a really high hope for you guys as a young composer of a new generation. I think our art will thrive. Thank you. Thanks to you all.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I always think that it takes a collective positive energy for something good to happen. So if something good happened today, it happened because we all got together here, and we have also others that they're joining us. And perhaps it's not about the ideal, but it's about welcoming something else and focus on what is possible. And I think that, I mean, it's evidence that with the help of Piyawat, with the help of Cornell, with help of people that they just want to meet, they want to gather together, share knowledge and experiences, and create a network. And I really will say that this is maybe the beginning of creating this network, which will definitely grow, and we will stay in touch. So I want to thank you all for your contribution and for staying positive. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure to escape somewhere in the world today and to spend that time with you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marianthi.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. Cool. Offเลยปะ End stream.